Hello everyone, JonScore12 back again with another JonScore12's Top 5 Picks. Today I'm doing my Top 5 anime female characters. A while back I did my Top 5 anime characters, but I let out a lot of the female characters. There's various great female characters in all of anime and manga, and I decided just to dedicate a video to them. And I kind of did that prior in my DBZ video, but now it's time to open the landscape into my personal phase. I won't be including any honorable mentions because then it would be like just way too long, and plus I'm only going to be including characters that I personally like and characters that have actual depth and include either intensity, drama, or comedic value to the story and adventures that the characters are taking. And I particularly aren't including powerful characters. A lot of people like to consider, and this is a big misconception in anime, that to be an important female character in anime and manga, you have to be very powerful. And I think that's a misconception. I think various female characters get along great with other characters in their respected animes and mangas without technically having to be really extremely overpowered. It just really doesn't matter. Like, you can have characters that don't particularly add a lot of, physical strength, but add a lot of value to the storyline without, having these powers. So I'm not going to be including any powerful female characters, just my personal favorite. And of course it's subjective, it's my personal list, so in the end, please give me your top 5. But let's get right down to it. To number 5, I have to give it up to, and I know, but I have to give it up to Bulma Brief from the Dragon Ball series. She's just my favorite. She was always my favorite. Like, if it wasn't for Bulma Brief and or Sailor Moon from Sailor Moon, I probably wouldn't even give a shit about female characters in anime anyways. Like, that's the honest truth, because those were the two first female characters where I was like, God, this is awesome. Female characters in anime are like this. This is pretty fucking entertaining, and they add a lot of value to the storyline, because in a sense, even though Bulma kind of gets lost in the Dragon Ball series around the end, specifically post Frieza saga, she gets lost there. But if it wasn't for her, there wouldn't even be a Dragon Ball series. She's the reasoning behind Goku actually being a part of the series. She's the person who introduces the theory and legend behind the Dragon Balls. She's of course the one who creates the Dragon Ball radar. She creates a ton of value and depth into the Dragon Ball series, so not including her into any type of female anime list is just a dishonor to Dragon Ball and to her character as a whole, because if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't even have any of the amazing stories and adventures that we have in Dragon Ball. But moving off of her, going to number 4, I have to get up to Mikasa from Attack on Titan. Now, I know I've talked a lot about Attack on Titan on my channel. I specifically said that it's definitely way overrated and overhyped, but definitely a good, enjoyable show. And I definitely like it, specifically because of her character. I consider her a way more important character to the story than Eren himself. And he's the actual lead, and he doesn't really bring anything. I can see where the creator was going with, but, Mikasa is, the definitive female character in anime at this point in time. And I really have to give it up to her, because she creates a lot of depth. She also creates a lot of value to the storyline that we're going to. Because if you take her out and a lot of majority of Eren's friends in Attack on Titan, then you just have an annoying prick of a kid who just won't shut up about his dead mom. That's all you really have. And not to bash Eren as a character, but if it wasn't for Mikasa or any of the other characters on Attack on Titan, I really wouldn't even watch the show. So you can honestly see as to why I really like her as a character. And plus, she's just really badass. She's obviously the most skilled warrior in the show. She's obviously the best good-looking one. And she also has the darkest past between any other character. So I just have to give it up to her. Even though I've yet to read all the manga of Attack on Titan and watch all the anime episodes, what I've seen so far, she's definitely boss. So I have to give it up to her. Moving off of her, going to number 3, I have to give it up to Faye Valentine from the Cowboy Bebop series. a lot of people might think, well, why her? She doesn't really add anything, I think, and personally, she's really annoying. Well, you don't really have to be a likable character to add depth into a story. And plus, she's definitely a definitive character that adds a fresh take on Cowboy Bebop, because I don't think if it wasn't for her being added to the roster, or Edward and Ian and all the various adventures they had because of those characters, Cowboy Bebop wouldn't even be that much entertaining of a series. Of course, it's completely debatable. I mean, Spike and Jet as characters alone are awesome. They're definitive, awesome, badass dudes in anime, especially Spike. But Faye Valentine definitely adds to that, because, like, if it wasn't for Faye, she adds definitely a trinity in the Cowboy Bebop story, you know, and plus, she just has this thing about her. She's seductive, but she's comedic, and she just doesn't give a fuck about what men think about her, but at the same time, she has a deeper meaning, because she's trying to find who she is, what she was before any of this, because she obviously doesn't remember her past, and she tries to discover this throughout the story. And it's definitely one of the prominent side stories in all of Spike, in Cowboy Bebop, besides Spike and his relationships status, you know, the status quo, you know, of him and, you know, and all the other characters that he deals with and all his turmoil. She adds a lot. You know, you just really have to admit that. She adds a lot, you know, and at the end, she discovers that there was nothing really left for her outside of the Bebop story. And this is where she belonged. But of course, it was too late, because when she finally admits this, Spike obviously goes to basically commit suicide, so it's kind of too late, and it leaves it sad and open-ended, which is the great thing about Cowboy Bebop, that it's open-ended. But I think one of the amazing parts as to why the ending works so good is because of Faye's and Spike's last conversation together. And I don't think even if you took it out, it could still be good, but I think that holds up still. When you rewatch that last piece of dialogue they have together, and how she kind of begs him not to go, you really get this feeling of, like, they really cared about each other, and that's because of her. You know, because if it wasn't for her, Spike wouldn't even give a shit, because he's just that kind of guy. He doesn't really think of these things more than several minutes, so it's just amazing. And plus, I just love her. She's just awesome. She's the best. She's just really badass. But moving off of her, going to number 2, let's see. It's really hard. I have to give it up to... I really decided, it was really hard to really say as to why I would do this, but because it was really hard. Like, should I put her on number 1 or number 2? I can't really tell which one, and I'm probably going to get heat for this, but she is on my top 5, so fuck it. And I have to give it up to Monoko Kusanagi, the Major, in the Ghost in the Shell series. God, man, she's just a badass. She's just one of my favorite anime female characters. And it's kind of debatable. She's not technically even human. She's an android. She's a machine. She's obviously developed in this post-cyberpunk reality. So, of course, she's not human. But she is a female character, and she definitely is obviously the main protagonist of the Ghost in the Shell series. She is definitely on the top list of any character list, but she's definitely on the top of any character that has to deal with the things that she deals with, her storylines, which is, of course, what is reality, what is life, what is dealing with the fact that you're not technically like everyone else, and it just, the realities of these type of subjects is just engulfed in her personality and her as a machine, you know, because she's not human, but she has to deal with these things at a daily basis because she's not human, and she has to work these type of things out. And she's just awesome. She's badass. She's cool. I love all of her depictions in the series, from the movie and in the anime series and manga. It's all really awesome and badass, and she's just all around cool. But moving off of that, I'm going to skip honorable mentions, because if I had to name a few, it would just go on and on and on. And plus, let's be realistic, all female characters in anime are very, very self-explanatory as to why they're on anybody's list. And it has to do with this one word, And that's all I'm going to say. And maybe I'll say honorable mentions just for quick as reference. But I'll say this one word to really wrap that up. Busty. I'm just going to leave it at that. Honorable mentions, I don't know who to include. The female characters of Bleach, the female characters of Naruto, and the female characters of One Piece. I know I've put them on my overrated list, and that's debatable in and of itself, but I had to name them because if it wasn't for them in the first place, you kind of lose interest because the heroes kind of get annoying at a certain point. I guess it's also debatable with the Naruto thing because Naruto female characters aren't really that in-depth, and specifically Sakura as a character. So it's all debatable that it is, but I guess visually. That's all I'm going to say, visually. Visually, yeah, okay, but let's just move off of that. I'm just rambling. My number one favorite character, female character in all of anime and manga, has to go to Revi from Black Lagoon, or Rebecca Lee, whichever name you want to go by. She's just a badass. I mean, there comes a certain point in time where you have to decide why you want to watch a show. There always has to come to that point. And you think, am I going to watch this show because of the imagery or the thought of the imagery? And I think that has to do with the fact that your lead female protagonist in the series basically resembles Tomb Raider, has fucking Daisy Dukes on, and freaking has fucking badass shooters, and just starts slinging it. That's all I'm gonna say. I just fucking love her character. She's just badass. The design, her character design, her fighting skills, her ability to really stay as a prominent character, her actions in the series. She's just all around, full-rounded, great character. And it was really debatable. I really was thinking, like, how can I decide between Black Lagoon and Full Mountain, Ghost in the Shell as defined, definitive one character, female character? It was really hard because I like them both equally because they're kind of both the same. They're both ass kickers and they're both badass in their own separate way. But she is human, but she's a machine. I'm like torn at the soul, so I guess for now it's going to be stuck at limbo as to which one's better and to which one really takes the cake. But for right now, just as pro-human, I'm going to just go with Revi, so fuck it. But that's going to be it. Hope you guys enjoyed. This has been my top 5 female anime characters. What's your top 5? Which characters that you like that are specifically females that not only are powerful female role models, but of course add value and depth to characters, story development, and to the overall telling of the series. So that's going to be it. Hope you guys enjoyed, and this has been John 12.